put on the board. I have given you a vertex and a focus. Guess what you are going to do? Write the equation. So, now wait a minute. So let's stop and think about the equations we were looking at before and the way they look. They had this number, this really, really important number. They had a parentheses, and then they had a parentheses squared. Now, if you don't believe me, look back at the last examples that we did. Would you agree the equation had a, was set up like that? So that's where we're headed. Now I'm going to go ahead and plot what I've been given, which is 3, 2, and pay attention, that's my vertex, and 7, 2, that is my focus. Now from that, you should be able to tell which way your parabola opens. So from the vertex and the focus, which way does it open? To the right. Remember, it always wraps around its focus, so it's opening to the right. Now, from that, you should be able to tell me which letters go in these parentheses. One of them isn't squared, one of them is. It opens to the right, so y is squared, x is not. We know the vertex is the point 3, 2. So that goes into the equation. Remember, the vertex goes in the equation, right? So that's going to be, the vertex is at 3, 2, so that'll be x minus 3, y minus 2.
Yes. So now we got to find right.
We are done except for that number right there, right? And we know that number is always 4p. That number is 4p. Always. What's p? 4. So if p is 4, then 4p would be 16. And then we have to stop and figure out if it's a positive 16 or a negative 16. Positive. Why positive? Going to the right. Done. Easy. All right, let's try another one. Let's suppose I told you that the focus was negative 4, 7, and the directrix is y equals 9. All right, so here we go. Let's look at what we've got. Draw a little picture of it. What have we got? Negative 4, 7. So here's my focus now. That is not my directrix. That's my focus. And then my directrix is y equals 9.
So it should be in between, right?
What's in between?
The vertex.
The vertex is exactly halfway in between.
Yeah, so it should be negative 4, 8.
So Brenton says my vertex is negative 4, 8. Does that make sense to everybody? Which way does this open? Down. All right, so wait a minute. I'm looking for an equation like that. It opens down.
So the x is going to be
So
squared.
the x is the squared one.
Yeah, you got a negative on p.
Whatever this is, Brenton says it's going to be negative, right? We know our vertex now. We didn't, but you figured it out because it's right smack dab in the middle of the focus and the directrix. Watch it. X plus 4, y minus 8. Make sure you get those attached to the right letters. The x is the negative 4. Y is the 8. Everybody okay? This number, whatever it is 4p. Always remember that's 4p. can look at your picture. What's P? 1? P is 1. So 4P is 4, and you've already made it negative. There it is. How do you feel about that? Got it?
We have ready to find the 2 points
The endpoints of the latus rectum?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, you have to find them. Yes.
But like not for this.
Well, I would have to give you something else besides, but I could give, like here I gave you the focus and the directrix. I could give you the endpoints of the latus rectum and the vertex or something, and you could figure it out, because the endpoints of the latus rectum would tell you how long it is, right?
How long P is,
No, how long the latus rectum is, and that's this number.
Right.
So that would actually be an easy problem. All right, let's try one more. I want you to do this one with your partner. I'm going to give you an equation. I want you to put it in the standard form and then find everything we need to find. So when I say that, I don't know what that is. When I say that, I want you to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the focus, the directrix, the length of the latus rectum, and the endpoints of the latus rectum. Notice these absolute value marks. What do those mean? Magnitude or length. So this means the length of the latus rectum and the endpoints of the latus rectum. So this is all the information you're finding, and here is your equation. All right, let's give that a shot. Help each other if you get stuck. I'm going to give you a couple minutes, then I'll do the equations.
What you do is you divide it by 2 and then square root it, so 8 divided by 2 is 4. Or square root of 4 and get rid of it. That you completely square root of 2. Square root.
So you do.
For the other one that we did make it like all the way down to x, you know, like we like divide by 2, so I don't know. I think we have to take it. So y over 2.
Well, y minus 16, then you square, because you move 16 over. So then what do you? We have to complete the square. Yeah, but we're saying it's 4. So you have to.
I got it.
Are you dividing them by 2?
You're going to divide it by 2?
Yeah. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2 squares.
Yeah, but don't you divide the whole thing by 2?
Yeah.
We take out 1
Then it's 1/2.
Then you get y. But did you put the 8 over the 3? Yeah.
I've done the standard form up here. You might want to look at that.
I agree.
Correct me
Where'd
if
you
you think I'm wrong.
Where'd you get 24?
Where'd you get?
24 times 8 plus 4.
Because you
No, I
took
know.
out half.
Oh, plus 16. Okay.
Distribute it back.
Because if you distribute it back, you want to have
How do you get that number again?
If we distribute it back, you want to
Half. Half of this square. That's the noise we have all the time. This is it. off, it's like so quiet. But yeah, that's all the time. That's the error handling system. I know. Isn't it something? You just get used to it. You don't notice it. It goes off. Right.
Vertex is -2 times 24.
That's what I said too, but you gotta multiply it back in and then you actually get 12. See, cause you look, if you were to factor that half back in, you would get 12. You get it?
Alright, so the standard form, everybody good on?
Yeah.
Alright, I put a fraction in this one. That doesn't change anything. Everything still works the same way. Where's your vertex?
-2, -24.
-2, -24. So we can fill in that blank. Which way do we open? Now pay attention to your equation. Which way does this guy open? Up. Which means this is my axis of symmetry.
Do we need to put what the axis of symmetry equals?
We do. The axis of symmetry is x equals -2. All we have to do is pay attention to where we're drawing it. Crosses the x-axis at -2, x equals -2. Alright, now I need to put my focus in there. It's going to be in here somewhere, right? What do I know about that point?
4p equals 1/2.
Well, I know, first of all, I know that my x-coordinate is -2, right? Let's get that half credit before we start messing around with fractions and stuff. Now, this distance right here is p. In my equation, that number is 4p. No. I'm going to multiply by a fourth.
Right.
So what's p? 1/8. Kids, if 4p is a half, p can't be 2. Right? P can't be bigger than 4p. P's an 1/8. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to go up an 1/8. So if I'm at -24, and I go up an 1/8, where am I going to be? -23 and 7/8?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The directrix, I'm going to go down an 8. So it will be y equals -24 and an 8.
Yeah.
Now my latus rectum.
For the directrix, would it equal y?
Yep, the directrix is a line, y equals. Now that blue segment I just drew in there, that's my latus rectum. How long is it?
1/2.
1/2. So the length of the thing is 1/2. The length of it is 1/2. That means dot to dot is 1/2. So here I am in the middle. How far each way do I have to go to get a whole half? A fourth. So I'm going to start right here at -2, and I'm going to go forward a fourth.
So 1 and 3/4.
-1 3/4, comma -23 and 7/8. I'm going to go backward a fourth, -2 1/4, -23 and 7/8. So those are my endpoints.
What problem?
Unfortunately, fractions are almost always a part of it. So you just need to get used to it. Okay, one more. I gotta erase. Okay, everybody good? Alright, here we go. One more equation. Let's see if you can do this one. If you got stuck on this one I'm erasing, let's see if you can work your way through the next one. We'll see if anybody can get it all the way right. Wouldn't that be awesome? Alright, so x equals, how about negative 1/10 y squared minus y plus 2. Alright, so we're finding all the same information. Let's see how you do. Okay, so I'll give you a minute, and then I will put the equation up there so you can check it.
Yeah, I did actually. I ran out of papers. So you do, so I kept the negative.
Yeah,
So it's 1/10 x minus 1/10.
Where'd you?
Negative 2 times 1/10. So
Can you just do times 10? Times that.
that's true. I guess I don't need.
Yeah. I think I got 10.
Because you
Divide by 2.
just have the negative y. So you get 1/2. You square 1/2.
Divide by 2.
It'd be negative.
It'd be y squared minus 10.
That's right.
Yeah.
We match? Do we match?
Yeah, but then I don't know where you got the negative. Oh wait, because it was negative 1/10. Alright. Otherwise, I got it. It's still where you're coming from.
Okay, so the first thing I did was multiply everything by negative 10. Remember, if you're going to complete the square, kids, you cannot have a coefficient on your square. You got to get rid of it. So first thing I did was multiply through by negative 10. Then I moved, well, it became a 20, negative 20. I moved that to the other side. Half of 10 is 5 squared is 25, so I added 25 to both sides. Factor that by -10. Anybody have a question about one of those numbers? Good. All right, where's my vertex?
4.5, negative 4.5.
No, 4.5, -5. 4.5, -5 is my vertex. Which way does it open?
Down. Or up. Or
Oh,
to the
left.
left.
Well, we guessed down, up, and left.
To the right.
To the left.
To the left.
It's to the left. Why is it to the left?
It's negative.
It's a y squared. Kids, you just gotta remember that your BFF is y equals x squared. Those are up and down. Since Brenton said, since the second week of school, right?
Oh, yeah.
Up and down. If it's a y squared, then it's sideways. If it's a negative y squared, then it's left. So this guy is opening left. Which means this is my axis of symmetry, which intersects the y-axis at -5, so it's y equals -5.
That makes sense.
Every point on that dotted line has a y that's -5, including the focus. Right? This distance right here is P. In my problem, 4P is 10 or -10. So P is 2.5. So I am going to start at 4.5 and back up 2.5. So I will be at 2. So my focus is at 2, -5. Now if I went back to, for my focus, I'm going to go forward 2 for my directrix. So I'm starting at 4.5 and going forward 2.5, which would put me at x equals 7. How long is my latus rectum? 10. Don't say negative, it's 10. Now, its endpoints, okay, here's the segment right here. This blue segment. That's 10 units long. So we're going to start at this point right here, this red point, and we're going to do what? Count up 5 and down 5, because the whole thing's 10, right? So if I do that, if I start here and go up 5 and down 5, where am I going to be?
2, 0.
That would be 2, 0, and this would be 2, -10. Oops. Now again, my picture's a little bit off. I'm not worried about that. If you need it to be more to scale for yourself, then that's fine.
Is that not -2?
No, it's 2. It's not to scale, it's plotted wrong. Remember, I drew the picture before I knew where my focus was. If I start at 4.5, Brooke, and I back up 2.5, I'm at +2. Okay? All right. You can do your 8.1 homework now. I'm going to quickly do a circle problem.
Oh, are we going to do circles as well?
I'm going to quickly do one problem because I have a few minutes here. And you're responsible for them. So, yep, that's assignment number 1. All right, so here is the equation, oh, let's not do that. Here is the equation of a circle. Now, tell me how I know that is not a parabola. Now, you may not know why exactly it's a circle, but you better know why it's not a parabola. 2 squares. When you put 2 squares in the same equation, it is not a parabola.
But when you have x squared and y squared, it is a circle.
It could be a circle or ellipse or hyperbola. We're going to talk about that. If the x squared and the y squared are added and they have the same coefficient, so in other words, x squared plus y squared, 2x squared plus 2y squared. If they're added and have the same coefficient, then you have a circle. We talked about this with our parametric equations. If you add them, but they have different coefficients, then that means your shape is pulled more in one direction than the other. So you don't get a circle, you get an ellipse. So if this had been a 2y squared, everything else the same, but that a 2y squared, that would be an ellipse. Circles are added together and they have the same coefficient. The only thing you have to worry about with circles is center and radius. That's all there is. Okay, a center and a radius. So we need to get this thing into standard form, and we do that by completing the square, just like you did with your parabola. So step 1, let's get the x terms together. There are x terms together. I'm going to leave a blank there because I'm going to complete the square. Half of this and square it.
Would you put the parentheses?
Now I'm going to do my y's together. And I'll leave a blank because I got to complete the square there too. There are 2 squares in the equation, so I got to complete both of them. And 10, and there are my 2 blanks, because whatever I add on the right side, I have to add on the left, right? Vice versa. So, half of 4
2,
squared,
4,
both sides.
9,
Half of 6
3,
squared, both sides. This right here is now a perfect square.
x plus
You made it happen. X minus 2 squared. This is another perfect square. Y plus 3 squared. And that adds up to 23. Where do you think your center is? Take a wild guess. 2, negative 3.
and then
Just like with the parabola, we take the opposite of what's in the parentheses.
your radius is the square root of 23.
And my radius is the square root of 23. It is that easy.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Of course you do. Now, one more problem, and then I promise I'll be quiet. What if I said to you, write the equation of the circle, whose diameter has endpoints at negative 110 and 7, 4. So what I'm looking for is this. This is the equation of the circle. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, you're gonna find
And I have given you the endpoints of a diameter. All right, now wait a second. Think about to write this equation. What do you need to know to write this equation? You need to know the center. What else do you need to know to write the equation? The radius. Given what I gave you, can you find the center?
yes.
The center will be the midpoint. Midpoint is average. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 plus 4 is 14, divided by 2 is 7. So our midpoint, or our center, is 3 comma 7.
Yes.
What are you doing, Burkhart? So x minus 3 squared plus y minus 7 squared. Everybody okay with that much of the equation? Now, it equals something. You said in order to get the something, I need to know the radius. This would be the radius, for example, right? How do I find the radius? Distance formula. Now, I picked these two. Could I use these two? Yeah. Could you do the whole thing and divide by 2? Yeah. Whatever works for you. I'm going to use these two. So my radius is going to be the square root of 3 minus 7 squared. Oh yeah, if you thought you could forget the distance formula, you can. You can't forget anything. You just got to remember it all. 3 minus 7 squared plus 7 minus 4 squared. Okay, so here, oh, I can't even believe this. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. Look at this. 3 minus 7 is 4 squared is 7 minus 4 is squared. My radius is 5. Now when I write my equation, I don't put 5 here. I put 25 here. Your equation is x squared, y squared, r squared. Wow is right. Now,
What a review.
boys and girls, you can do your 8.0 and 8.1 work now.